This is perfect. Well, you guys, thank you so much for joining that first part. Do you feel like God spoke to you? Yeah. Oh, that's so good to hear. And we're hoping that just even more so, a deeper dive. And you guys, yeah, come on over, come on in. We want to see you. Come take part. All right, guys. Well, I want to give away a couple t-shirts real quick because you guys are troopers. And so I'm going to have actually Raya throw this one.
Here we go.
Yep.
Okay, hold on.
And
this is so stressful. When I get up on stage and do this,
you have to turn around, and then she's going to throw it. Ready? Turn around, turn around, turn around. Oh! All right, she's going to have another try. Here we go.
Second one. Okay, ready? I'm just going to, okay, here we go.
Woo! All right, that's all that we have for this moment. All right, so we're going to do Quiet Coyote here.
I'm sorry, Jack.
No, it's so good. So you guys, at the end of our time together, towards the end, you guys are also going to have an opportunity to win a dream kit. And so you guys, inside of this, you are going to have this 5-video series on how to go after your God-given dreams, and it is really special, and I would love to connect with you afterwards just for one-on-one. So it is something that you want to stay engaged, you want to stay present, and really ask your heart these tough questions. You guys, ask me hard questions too. So text Sarah, and we're going to be able to dive in. Go ahead. Go ahead. So you guys saw this a little bit during the presentation, time to dream big, and you heard about all the different statistics of God being able to help us go after our God-given dreams. I wanted to see, so this is where I wanted to stop. So this is a hashtag. Anyone know what it stands for? Yes.
I'm going to turn the music off real quick.
Beautiful. Let's give a round of applause. That was a hard answer, hard question. And yes, what would you do if you knew you could not fail? So guys, you are in on the inner loop. You know what this crazy line of lettering means. So you can kind of stump your friends if you want to. Our goal with the calling is we want the world to get to know this hashtag. So we want to put it in every, all the different Barnes and Nobles, as I say, restrooms, so maybe that's too weird. Places where people are going so they can see it, they can be challenged to keep dreaming big. And we're just going to land on this page, and I want to be able to open this up for you guys to know that God has an amazing dream from his heart to yours to live out. And you can text Sarah. And do we have a first question, Ryan?
We don't have questions yet, but I wanted to kind of start with, you mentioned, it was mentioned in your introduction earlier, and I heard it and I was like, I want to know more about this. Could you tell us more about kind of how you got into the characters with Disney? Because were you an actual...
It was the one here in Colorado.
Okay.
Yep, for the Disney actress. Yep.
Okay, can you just tell us more about that?
Yes.
And how that kind of all happened?
Well, that is a great question. So you guys heard about Red Rocks, and that was such a Red Sea miracle. What you'll find out if you get the book in more detail, that there was a felon that stole all the money.
Oh. And
I ended up with Lyme disease, and it led this whole way of having to have these different ventures of needing to regrow strength and different opportunities. And one of those happened to be my friend showing a picture on social media that she was dressed up as Belle. And I thought it was the most amazing thing I had ever seen. And I had asked her if they needed someone, if they ever needed someone, and just kind of put it out there because I was like, no, it would never happen. And it ended up allowing me to become one of the Disney characters. So from Ariel to Rapunzel to Jasmine, None of the male characters, but almost all the female characters.
Which one was your favorite? Just out of like who was?
Yes.
You were just excited to do that one.
That is a great question. I would say that my favorite, well, I liked the spunky ones, because like Cinderella, you're supposed to be very elegant and you don't do very much with your hands. But I just go for my hips, and as you guys could probably tell during my speech, I like to move around. Even with the lapel mic, they were like, oh, as long as you're not too animated. I was like,
You're like,
I'm
well,
a little animated.
Actually.
Yes, I would probably say like Rapunzel or Ariel.
Love it.
Yeah.
Let's see.
But I will say, Raya, so like just leading into these different opportunities for that realm, that was right at the timing that I had to figure out some different exercises as well, because I was a collegiate athlete in college, and I was a cross-country runner, and with Lyme disease, you get bit by a tick. I don't know, has anyone heard about Lyme disease before?
Yes.
A little bit, yes. So you get bit by this little tick, and it acts like a slow cancer. So it's really powerful, and it's really bizarre, but my body reacted to it immediately, and I couldn't even walk more than like 2 minutes at a time, and I would feel very out of breath, and I had to figure out a way to be able to exercise without running cross country like I had been used to. And so I started dancing, and one of my friends was like, oh, you should come work out with these girls. Like, they're the most amazing girls with the best hearts, but also it's the best workout of your life. And it ended up being the Denver Bronco cheerleaders. And I trained with them, and the coach actually led me to do Miss Colorado. So it was like this magnet all at the same timing that, through this really hard disease and this really horrible season that I hope you guys can kind of resonate with, that, we get hit with so many hardships, sometimes all at one time, but God wants to be able to open up other doors. So he might shut all these doors, but he wants to be able to open them. So yeah, Miss Colorado, training with Denver Bronco cheerleaders, Disney actress stuff, that led to then becoming a professional mermaid at aquariums. So have you guys seen mermaids at aquariums, like swimming with the sharks?
It might be my favorite part of going to the aquariums is the mermaid shows.
I have not done, it's been really special. It's with Wands and Wishes mermaids, and I couldn't have dreamt of that. And God had it in his heart, and I had to trust him. And it was really, really hard for me to fathom that this could be part of God's plan, but I knew that he had just done such a Red Sea miracle of having this event at Red Rocks, that how could I not trust him in this season? Because I was like, Lord, like you said that we were going to fly, we were going to go around the nations, and back then that the books were going to come, and A to Z was going to take place, and he literally was like, yeah, you thought you were going to fly, but you're going to fly back to your nest. And are you going to trust me? And then he opened up these really beautiful experiences that have really helped the calling. And Miss Colorado got to talk about this charity to, not only Colorado, but it was with Miss America. And yeah, so I think it was just a really neat opportunity to continue to trust the Lord. And we were talking in the atrium a little bit that God likes to give us these, these Red Sea miracles that we get to go overcome, but lo and behold, it's a whole nother mountain that we have to climb. And what we experience, I think, in wisdom, and even in middle school and high school and college, you just realize that you built a whole bunch of strength up for this upcoming season. And it's that endurance and that perseverance that you are not going to quit, that we're not going to quit. And so Holy Spirit had to help me quite a bit. But it was a journey, but definite highlight, being a Disney princess.
Love it. So this next question kind of goes with what you just ended there with. So how do you handle feeling defeated, or when you start questioning, what do you do?
I think this is so good. I think it's so crazy. Almost when I was speaking earlier this morning, do you guys remember when I was like, Satan likes to tempt us with the biggest thing, and it's that God is withholding something good from us. Do you guys remember that part? I think for me, even to this day, it's something that Satan tries to do regularly. And God, he loves for us to walk with him. And the goal of our faith, you guys know what it's all about? It's not getting to the end and being the victor and getting first place. It's actually getting to know God on that journey. It's getting to know Jesus and his heart. And the only way that we get to know him is through the ups and downs. And knowing that if we feel discouraged, that we're able to trust him. And I think the best way that I've been able to overcome those scenarios is remembering how God's been faithful in the past. And let's say you don't feel like you can remember when he's been faithful. You guys, the scriptures, and especially just YouTube at all of our access, being able to listen to sermons or listening to the Bible on audio, and just being reminded of the promises of God. But doing it in a way that's a refresher, and maybe it's a worship song, but we can look in Psalms, and I know this is kind of a big one, but David would tell his heart in Psalms 42 and 43, "Why are you downcast, O my soul? Put your hope in God." And we are meant to be in charge of our minds and our bodies and our spirits. And so Satan, and as I know that you guys are all experiencing in school and just you being generational leaders, where you're at, young leaders, you're getting tempted in every which direction, but God wants you to overcome that, but having command over those thoughts and being able to get it in realignment, because you do have authority over all those temptations, and you can overcome. So I would just say I've had to practice this rhythm of trust, and it's a journey, and it's hard, and I don't want you guys to feel like, oh, it's just going to be an easy thing now that I said yes to my dream, that everything's going to be laid out and it's all going to work out in perfect harmony. But you are going to be able to persevere. And so there is going to be some of the most beautiful ingredients that God is going to sprinkle into your life, and ingredients just like, I got Lyme disease, but then I got to do the Disney princess actress scenario, and I got to do Miss Colorado, and those scenarios have helped me with this. God is the perfect author and story writer, and it comes ultimately with knowing that you're an overcomer and you are a child of the living God. You are a son and a daughter of the living God.
I love that. This next one is also a question I was curious about as well. But how did you create, or what sparked the wanting to create the Calling Foundation? What was your why?
Such a good question. I know, I can't believe I didn't say this in the speech earlier. If we had more time, but this is special. You guys get to hear this, because I was in high school, and I was in a class called Senior Project, and you could do anything that you wanted to before you graduated, and you got English credit for it. And I just started dreaming and trying to really figure out what God wanted me to do. And at the time, I was set up as quite the leader of the school. I was student body president, varsity cheerleading captain, vice president of the National Honor Society, varsity track. It was, the Lord had me just doing all these variety of things in pretty big leadership roles. And I felt a lot of pressure to do something magnificent for this senior project. I saw all of my friends. One was writing a cookbook. Another one was going to build a snowboard by hand, and things, they were dreams that were unique to their hearts. And I was like, God, what do you want me to do? And I went to a public high school, but I knew that he was the reason for me living and breathing. And you guys, when I asked God that, it was like crickets. I heard nothing. I was like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. Have you just left me behind, and now all these friends, they have great projects, but I don't, and this ending semester is supposed to be the last hurrah. So honestly, I felt forgotten, and I was a little bit downcast, like in my soul, which I think we can all resonate with seasons where you feel a little lost. You're like, is God really hearing my prayers? Is this really where I'm supposed to be, what I'm supposed to be activating? And right when I least expected it, I was walking through our high school. I went to Bear Creek High School, a 5A school, and I think you guys might agree or disagree. I think it's like a human zoo going through a passing period in high school.
100%. 100%.
And so, you got, just the lockers slamming, but monkeys, and you can have all these scenarios. So I was going through that, trying to race to my next class, not to be tardy. And right in the middle of that, Holy Spirit just stopped me, and he froze me. And I remember exactly where it was in front of the acting department. And God was like, Chrysandra, so many of my children are afraid to go after the dreams that I'm calling them to. Tell them not to be afraid. And literally, like, my body froze, and I saw this vision. And he showed me the beauty of what would happen with people coming together, especially high schoolers, middle schoolers, and young adults, but people of all ages. And it would be this glory of when people are fully allowed to dream and dream God's dreams, there's like a vibrancy. It's like these colors we can never see, these sounds that we've never heard. But the glory of heaven is seen here on earth like never before. And when that happened, I was like, whoa. And so he just started sharing with my heart of, I had to ask from that vision, like, God, what does this look like? Is it one-on-one with people that you want me to share for people not to be afraid? Is it together? And, it was all of those, but mostly starting out with allowing people to come together as one with these global conferences and being sparked by great entertainment, Grammy Award-winning entertainment, and allowing people to have connections right there on site for people to activate their dreams and calling. And so that was in 2007, and from that moment out, you guys, I just had felt that that's what I've been born to do. And we have gone through a crazy amount of ups and downs, the calling and I, but I love it with all of my heart. Yeah.
So this is the question I have, still kind of going off of that. What are your hopes and dreams for the calling in the years to come?
That's a great question. Who was with me when we were talking about Haiti? Is anyone in here when we were talking about? Yes. So it's been pretty special. So with the Red Rocks event, people were saying, where is it going to be, like our next big conference? And God would show different things, but nothing was sticking. And then my friend from college had just gotten back from Haiti on a missions trip. And I was asking her, I was like, how was it? How was the trip? And she was like, yeah, it was great, but the people, they're so lost. They don't have a hope. And all of a sudden I was like, they need a calling conference. They need to spark their purpose. Because when people know that they have a unique purpose to live out, they become on fire and they're able to live out what God has called them to. And so that was 2009. And then the 2010 earthquake happened. Are you guys familiar with that earthquake? I know that was a long time ago. But there was an earthquake, and it killed over 300,000 people at one setting. Can you guys fathom that? 300,000 people. And that nation has been dedicated to Satan. So they have gone through the most horrific natural disasters as well as political unrest. But God had said that he wanted to have a conference there. And so for the future, that's where our next global conference will be, with hundreds of thousands of people to rededicate the nation back to Jesus. And we're just gathering leaders from around the country and the world to do that. So that's a big dream, but just continuing to spread this hashtag and just challenging hearts young and old to go after their dreams and calling.
That's so good. I love that so much. I feel like we kind of hit on this, but I'm sure you have other moments as well. But the question is, what was your come to Jesus moment through all of this, or a time he spoke up to you that helped you know this was the path you should be on and continuing on?
That's a really good question. I think one scenario that is helpful, it was hard for my heart to digest at the time and trying to figure out the path. And there were some people that I was speaking with about them going after their God-given calling in particularly. And it's hard to know when we feel like there's forks in the road, right? And this individual, it was about college and picking out what college to go to. For me, I was a sophomore in college, and the calling had its first conference in high school, but then in college, I just thought I was going to be a high school student because that's what I had been planning since I was itty bitty. And my mom was a high school teacher, and I would play teacher all the time. And that was just kind of ingrained in my heart and mind, and my Nana was a teacher. But when I went to college, I was really convicted. And I was in all of these great, I love kids, and I feel like they're my people. But Holy Spirit was like, Chrysandra, if you could be a teacher and you'd always wonder what if, or you would love it, but you'd always wonder what if. And I'm like, what does that mean? And the what if for me was if this dream from high school could be my full-time job. That would be my ultimate dream. And I had to really decide whether or not I was going to trust God in that moment and become an entrepreneur that was, it wasn't really known in my family. As a little bit of the black sheep in that way, because, my dad's an engineer, my sister was going to be a nurse, and, just kind of these paved pathways that they would be on. And I wanted to be on a paved pathway too, but God was saying, do you trust me? And so I think when it comes down to these forks in the road, the great things to ask our hearts and to recognize that only you truly know, but just like we don't want to live with any regret, go all out, run the race. I just knew that God wanted me to ask, where would I grow the most with Jesus? Because he lasts, you guys, I know it seems kind of like we keep on saying this, but the only one that knows us the best is him. Yeah, he knows our innermost dreams and desires, and Satan wants us to think that he's going to withhold all of those things. He could never bring, to be able to have Grammy Award-winning entertainment or to have, the best of the best of the best. But God delivers the best when we wait on him. And we have to trust in those scenarios of waiting or just decision-making where we're going to grow with him the most. And he really will magnetize the desires of your heart at the right time. And he'll do it in a way that you never could have perceived. And so I think where he is leading, where you're going to get to know him, that's with your friends. That's going to be, if you guys are in a situation where you're feeling pulled, you're like, I don't know, I want to be around this person, but they're really pulling me down from God. It's probably time to push away and pull away towards coming to youth group more, and I had to go through those situations, and it takes a lot of bravery to acknowledge that and to actually act in it. But God is so faithful. He is so faithful, and he continues to build our strength of faith so that when these bigger scenarios keep on growing, we're prepared to be able to follow him and not our human dreams.
I love it. What does the calling mean to you?
I love it. I think it's a challenge every single day to be able to follow Jesus fearlessly. And, someone's like, oh yeah, I love that question. I'm like, yeah, it's so great, but it's convicting every day. What would you do if you knew you couldn't fail today? But in the scriptures, it talks about making the most out of every situation and being the salt and light. And you guys, it is pretty fun. So I'm getting my doctorate in strategic leadership. So I'm going to be a professional futurist. So it's pretty fun. And all to say, it goes back to the technology that's available to us. And, what you guys have been able to learn as a younger generation is unparalleled to any other generation, and you guys really are meant to be the world leaders for God's kingdom. And, I love that we have that capability. Mm-hmm.
I think this one will be really good, as I think it'll resonate with a lot of us in here. But how would you navigate high school or middle school when sports and after-school activities take away from time with God, seeing as you were so busy during those years?
That was really good. I was really busy. And you guys, I went to Bear Creek Elementary and middle school and high school. But even the elementary and the middle, we would have like 5 or 6 hours of homework every night. It was a lot. They kind of made it like a charter school, so there was a lot of homework. And a shout out to my mom in particular for helping with those late nights. It was a lot, but I had to find in my heart what was important, and I went to the Catholic Church, and I just recognized that there was a lot of things. I knew that Jesus wanted a personal relationship with me, and that I wanted to grow in my relationship and my knowledge in the Bible. And so I changed churches to where they were speaking the Bible. They were reading the scriptures, and they were guiding me of how I could read it for myself. And I started making sure that I wanted to go to youth group. I wanted to be filled up with the Word. And I think you have to just make the time, because everything will pull you in every other direction not to go. But I just felt, and you guys probably feel this too, when you are saying yes and you walk in it, there's this peace that floods your body, a supernatural peace that you are in God's will. And I love Rocky Church. I love Raya. I know Pastor Matt he's just such a great leader, and Parker. You guys are being filled up with the Word here, but saying yes to those decisions where you are going to get filled up by God, and you're going to be able to hear how God wants to be able to love on you and how you can be His hands and feet in the world, you are going to have that peace that transcends all understanding, and all those other things that you have to get done. Trust me, I get the sports and I get the homework, but He'll speed it up. He'll figure out a way that you are able to get it done quicker, and or maybe you were preparing for a test and you didn't have time to study. Maybe He'll move the test. I'm not saying that's every time, but sometimes there's miracles. There's miracles. But yeah, it's a lot to balance, but put Him first, and He'll realign everything else perfectly.
Perfect. And I think I could benefit a lot from this question as well. Do you have a go-to way to talk about Jesus in spaces with people that do not know Him?
So good. So good. All right, guys, recently, this was probably the most challenging situation I've been in for this type of scenario, where 99% of the people do not love Jesus, and I was definitely outside my comfort zone. I was asked to be a speaker at Earth Day in the middle of New York, in Manhattan, in the middle of Times Square, with the King of Dubai, and this huge, so he's Muslim, and then this huge influencer from India, he knows all the main leaders there in India. There's these Buddhists that were from Nepal, so Buddhism, and then there was these Indians that worshipped Indian gods, and I only knew one other person in that room that really did love Jesus. I'm wow, Lord, help me know how to articulate the gospel in words if you want me to, but especially in my actions. And what I have learned is that over and over again, our actions speak volumes over anything that we have to say. So I think that humble posture of allowing other people to be heard, to be seen, to feel loved and honored around you, that's where you start. And so especially in high school and middle school and college, building those relationships to know that you genuinely care for them, that you want to hear them, and maybe they just hear, oh, where are you set, like Wednesday? Oh, I went to youth group. And I think that is a great way to pave the open door for, if they wanted to know more about your faith and to hear about Jesus, then they'll ask for it, and or you'll feel prompted to speak it out to them. But this, no one likes to be told, or no one likes to be like shouted out or saying that you're wrong. And I think I stumbled quite a bit in just developing my faith when I was younger. I was pretty harsh because I was like, I realized that a lot of my friends, like especially going into freshman year, a lot of the girls on the cheerleading team, they were doing things a lot that I started hanging out with them like, my middle school didn't do that. Like, they never experienced those things. Where are all these boys coming from? And I was slowly just hanging around them, and it wasn't becoming as abnormal as it should be to me at that point in life, and I had to decide to step away from that group of friends. So I think it's just being able to make the tough choices with those friendships. But with sharing Jesus, I was pretty harsh because I was like, well, you don't love the Lord, and these guys do, and made them feel bad, and I shouldn't have done that. I should have just said, I'm just gonna hang out with these guys and love, maybe show them support by showing up for their sports activity, or just asking for creative ways to support them. But yeah, I definitely would, you have to take care of yourself, and you don't want to drown, so like get yourself out of those situations if you're around people that don't love God and love Jesus and are, it's too easy to be pulled down, but do it in a way that you can look back on and say, I honored them and supported them even though they don't love Jesus.
So this next one is, we're kind of like switching gears a little bit,
okay.
But you are an author. So
yes.
This question is, as somebody who aspires to publish a book, how does the industry handle passionate young minds such as yourself?
What a beautiful question. Well, I feel very humbled to be a published author, and so the book is called To All the Dreamers. I would say that you really want to write about something that you want to continue to speak about. So don't just write about any flippant topic, but something that you want to be able to encourage other souls to keep on believing in, if it's a cookbook or if it's with your personal story and your testimony, to be able to write it in a way that you are passionate about. Have several editors, and don't settle for any publisher. Find out what their goals are and find out if they're going to be able to take you where you want to go. Because there'll be a lot of people that try to sell you on, well, if you just don't include this chapter, but that chapter's like the main, the essence of your being, then they're not the ones that God has for you. So definitely, I would say start writing now if that's your dream. Start dividing out, and honestly, I would challenge everyone in here, you should write a book. And the reason is because your life has such power, and the power of our testimonies, it really does transform other people's lives. And you can start, I'll just give you a couple tips if you did want to be able to start writing your book today, or maybe you're in the middle of it. But an easy way is just to be able to write out 10 different points, and then underneath those points, put 5 other points. So there's sub-points underneath the big topics. So what that is that's 10 chapters, and then that's 5 bullet points inside of that chapter. And so you just want to start brainstorming and dreaming of what could be inside of those 10 points. Maybe you come up with 20 different ones, and you're like, oh yeah, I have enough content for 15 chapters. Or maybe I can mush these together. But I think really being passionate about your topic is number one, and knowing that it's something that you're anointed to talk about and that you're prepared to have the world read and listen to because I think I get surprised pretty regularly, like, oh, people have
like you
read
realize
my
how many
book.
people like actually you're like, oh, that's a lot of people.
Yes, it's like, oh, I did write that down. I did. Yep.
Going on the same topic with books and publishing and all of that, do you plan on writing another book anytime soon? And if so, what topics or ideas interest you right now?
I am writing a couple, well, one is almost done, and then one's coming up. But it's a kid's book. The very first one is called Tales of the Call, and it was actually written by Ruth Harper. Have you guys ever read The Kissing Hand? It's about a raccoon. A couple of you? Yep. So it was a New York Times best-selling book. That illustrator she came to a calling conference, and she wanted to write a book. So she wrote this book, Tales of a Call. We have Mark Batterson. Have you guys read The Circle Maker? It's like a red book. Highly recommend it. It's pretty powerful, but he has helped endorse it. So we have a kid's book, and then also a book called Heaven's Imagination. That will be the next book after To All the Dreamers. So a little more about that topic of what our job title would be in heaven.
I think that is so cool. Props to you
Oh.
for doing all of that. That's so much work and energy that goes into it, but I mean, you seem to do it so flawlessly. So props to you.
Thank you.
Matt McDonald was in here and he sent me a question.
Yes.
Well, it's not a question.
Yes.
He just goes, tell us about your dog. So I'm assuming there's a dog.
There's a
and
dog.
I would love to hear about the dog.
Her and I are one. I'm just kidding. Her name's Imagine, and she is a 1.5-year-old Dalmatian. So her nickname is Magi.
That's amazing.
I highly recommend a Dalmatian. I've realized in my time, you guys, that I love black and white animals. Like, it first started with orcas. Orcas are like my favorite. And then I realized I love zebras, and then penguins, and then...
You're like, there's a theme here.
There's a theme. And so when the dogs came around, it was absolutely have to get a Dalmatian.
Love it. Hold on, we might be getting another one here. Okay, super random.
Yes.
Dream vacations. Because you have been to several places.
Yes.
Is there anywhere that you haven't been that you're like, I would love to go there?
Well, you guys, so I've been to Australia. My sister was studying abroad there, which was so special. So got to experience Sydney and the kangaroos and the opera house. Been to Haiti, been to Israel a couple of times, and that has been really powerful. But I have yet to be to Europe, and I really want to go.
It's on my list. It's on my list.
I honestly, I can't believe I haven't been yet, but I think with the Olympics coming up in Paris, is anyone going?
No, I would love to go to the Olympics one day.
I know.
And just watch.
Yes. Oh, you are? Oh, okay.
No.
You want to go too. I know, me too. Yes. So I would say Europe, but in particularly Italy and Greece and London and Monaco. Because my cousin, she is like a 5th, 6th cousin, so it's down the road. But did you guys hear that a little bit about Monaco? Princess Grace Kelly. Do you guys know who she is? So she was, do you know who she is, right? I know. It's okay. I didn't know too much either. But she's this cousin.
Of yours?
Yes.
Okay.
But she married a prince. So she's American, but she married the Prince of Monaco, and she became a princess. But she was an actress, and she was a philanthropist. She was a really special person. And so she's my cousin. And that's how I got to become, I'm currently Miss International World, Miss Monaco.
And that's the connection there.
Yeah.
Love it.
So, you guys, the fairy tale can happen. You never know.
That sounds straight out of a movie. Like that. I want to marry a prince.
Yeah.
I want to be a princess.
And you know what? We can make that. Even if it's not a current prince, and like gentlemen in this room, you can still make whoever you're with feel like a princess.
Right.
A real life princess.
Tell them.
Yes.
Okay, while we're on the princesses, again, What Disney princess would you want to be in real life? Like if you could be one of the Disney princesses, and then why? Like what about it intrigues you?
That's a good question. Okay. What was that? Olaf?
Olaf? That's not a princess. It's a sidekick.
Olaf would be
Okay,
pretty
let's
cool.
do this. Let's do this. What princess you would want to be, and then what sidekick you would want as your sidekick.
Oh, what sidekick?
Yeah.
Ooh. Yours would be Olaf. I love Frozen. I love Anna, and I love the whole scenario. Especially with my sister, we're a year apart, so we resonate a lot with that. I would say the sidekicks. There's so many good ones. There's like Pocahontas, and you get Nico, right? Or you get Ariel, and you get Flounder. Or let's see, you get Belle, and then you get what's the pots? Oh, Chip.
Chip.
You get Chip. That's
There's
pretty.
Pascal.
Oh,
The chameleon.
love Pascal.
That would probably be mine.
Man, this is a hard one. I have to say, I feel like I want to be, okay, like my name, it's a little different. Chrysandra. People are like, what's your name? I'm like, Chrysandra. And I'm like, yeah, it's 10 letters, but I love it. My parents made up my name, and it makes up a lot of who I am. But I think we're all meant to be our own princess. So I would say it would be Chrysandra and Maggie.
I love it. That's so good. It's so good.
So I would challenge all of you guys. You guys are the princesses and princes, and you have to pick your partner in crime too. So you have to pick your partner correctly.
True. True. Okay, does anyone else have any other questions or anything else you want to know?
I have a comment. So with the Paris thing with the Olympics, I have a friend with Europe and stuff. I have a friend who goes every year. Recently, she just traveled like all of Europe, and she's my age with her sister, with her dad and her mom, and they like traveled all of Europe, and they do like these very expensive trips every year for like a family vacation. And then she gets like a budget of like $1,000 to spend to Europe.
That's pretty awesome.
I
Yes, I love it. I think that means like whatever dreams God provides in really unique ways. That's a great story. Yes.
Okay, honestly, I'm wondering the same thing.
Oh, you guys
Good
are
question.
so
Good
great.
question.
It is a fun question. So for a while, you guys, I was traveling so much, like almost every other day I was somewhere, but I was out in California quite a bit. Do you guys know Judah Smith? Do you guys know Justin Bieber?
Yes.
All right. So Justin Bieber goes to Judah Smith's church in Beverly Hills, and so I would go to church there and actually be on Wednesdays, but they would like change locations. It's kind of crazy. You get like a text, and then they're like, "Oh, we're meeting in this basement."
It's like, here's the password.
Yeah, it is because they have all these people that chase after them, but they created like an environment where these people could feel safe. And I'll just say, in Beverly Hills, this shoe company was going out of business, and it was like something crazy, like 90% off. So these are from Beverly Hills on that amazing deal.
So I can't go order them.
I will do my best to find.
Perfect.
We're going to find. Yes, we will find out.
Perfect. Okay.
I will say I just was asked to become a shoe designer.
Oh.
So I could try to design these if you guys
Please.
would want them.
Please. I mean, they're gorgeous.
Yes, and the shoe company is called Imagine More. So it's just launched. We have sneakers right now, if anyone's interested, but they're Italian made.
Fancy. Nice. All right. Anyone else? We got any? I mean, at this point, it's free game. Whatever you want to know. Favorite color?
Favorite color? Aquamarine or gold.
I love how specific that was. Love it.
Yes. Yes.
What you got? Favorite animal?
Favorite animal, I'd have, yes.
Is it zebra?
Well, there's one, orca would probably be like, if I could have a pet orca.
You would.
I would.
You would.
I would. But yeah, then a zebra. I do want to get a zebra actually.
That would be
So if
cool.
you guys want to be on that bandwagon with me, that we should have more zebras in America.
Yep, agreed.
It'd be great. I did go to this farm. You guys, fun fact, if you ever want to go there, it's called Disney, Oklahoma. And they have, it is like heaven on earth with animals. They have all these baby animals.
Stop it.
Baby kangaroos.
I would lose my mind.
Baby camels.
I would lose my mind.
Baby zebras.
Nope.
Oh, yeah.
I would start crying. I would start crying.
Baby lemurs. And you get to hold all of them.
Stop.
Yeah, they just, like, they want people to hold them.
Like cuddle and snuggle with the baby
it's like
animals.
for therapy. I know. So like, when I first heard about this, because my brother, actually a fun fact, I have 2 adopted brothers from Ukraine.
Oh.
Yes. So that's actually, it's a good one to know.
Fun fact.
So one of my brothers was kind of having a hard time in a season in life, so he went to Teen Challenge for a little bit. And one of their therapies was to go to this animal zoo. So when we went to go visit him, we went there and like, this should be everywhere. Especially my house.
Your backyard. Like
Yeah.
walk out, there's like baby animals.
Yeah. You know.
That might be the new dream for me.
Yeah.
Just
I
baby,
love
just
that.
baby animals
know.
in the backyard.
Well, kangaroos, you guys want to hear something fun? Is that they like to be held like babies.
I would never put it down.
I know.
I would pick it up and it's like, sorry, you're stuck here.
I know. Tell me how much time, because I want to do a couple things real quick.
Nicole, how much? Do we have like 10-ish minutes? Is it 12:15 or 12:30? 12:15. So like.
Oh, good.
7
Good.
minutes?
Okay, because we got some juicy things coming up. I don't want to miss out on them. We have a couple more minutes for some questions, and then I want to be able to do some things.
Okay.
Yes.
We'll do like 1 or 2 more questions if they're out there.
Okay.
Are they out there? That's the next question. You got questions? No. I'm only picking on you because I know you. Sorry. Anyone else?
I'll share an upcoming event.
Yes, please.
That I would love for you guys to participate in if you want to come. It's with Tebow, and it's coming up in January.
I think I saw this on my Instagram.
Okay, there's 2 things.
Okay.
It might be different,
Okay.
but that one's awesome too. This one, it's called the Dreamer's Ball. So it's for the calling, and it's a full-out ball, and we're going to be having Tim come here to Colorado on January 12th of 2025. So I know it's a little bit of ways away, but
Something to keep in the back of your mind.
Yeah.
Where's it at? Do you know?
we
in the
haven't
works?
publicly announced
Okay.
it, yes.
So then it's not what I saw on Instagram.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But I would love to give you guys a special, just promo code.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
please.
Yes. Yeah. Do you guys like Tim Tebow?
Yes, I do.
Like, is he relevant or meh? Yeah? Okay, good.
Yeah,
Good.
see, yeah.
You can be honest with me. I feel like we're all friends and family in this room. But I know there's a couple good questions. Let me hear it.
Yeah, what's up? Oh, that's a good question.
Yes, I'm from Lakewood.
Colorado native.
Colorado native, yes. And I actually, so when I was 3 years old, my parents got a divorce, and so my mom stayed in that Lakewood Littleton area, but then my dad was more in the Greenwood Village area, now Castle Rock. So I like it that I have family almost all over Colorado.
That is really nice. You can see all the different parts of it.
Yes. And a little token, I don't know if you guys have parents that are divorced or if you know of those that are divorced, but something that's really helped me, and I had to just realize this because, it's a hard thing to swallow after a while because it does, it changes your life, changes the kids' lives and the parents, but you have to just realize that God is now going to give you 2 families that are going to love you just as much as one. And I think that you just have to see it from God's perspective. Otherwise, it really is like so straining and pulling on your heart and for holidays. But when you get to know that God wants to turn it into a gift for you to be doubly blessed, then it can be a really neat way to walk through that journey that you didn't cause, and that if your friends, they didn't cause it, and they just get to choose how to deal with it. And that's all we have control of is ourselves.
Yeah, I think that's a beautiful reminder. We're going to start wrapping up. So
Yes.
whatever you want to do do that.
So you guys, I want you to remember this hashtag. And then if you haven't done so already, this one on your left is my Instagram, and then that one's the callings. And what I want to do next, so you don't have to go to mine, but if you can go to the callings, it'll be helpful for this next part, because I want to leave you guys with a way to be able to activate your God-given dreams. Because there's a free, you found it? Yay! There's a link to activate your God-given calling, and it's going to give you a whole bunch of questions for you to ask your heart. And what we want to do is come alongside you as the calling and I to be able to see those God-given dreams fulfilled. And there's all these life seasons of ups and downs, but having people that you can talk to about resources, about ideas, about connections, we want to be that group for you to look to and to pinpoint. So have you guys found that yet? Did you guys find it? So it should be in the link. Try and look for my phone. Oh, wait, I don't have it. So it's the callingnonprofit.org/activate. So if it's not pulling up that first time. But then that will send to the calling, and that'll be really special. And I just want to be able to give an opportunity for someone in this special time to be able to win this dream kit. And in order to win, I'm going to tell you here in a second, but if you guys have taken pictures throughout the conference, please tag the calling and I. We would love to see them and repost them and to help support you as well. We also have a radio show. I think you heard a little bit about that, but it's on Monday through Friday at 12 and 8 every day. And if you would like to be a guest, I would love to open up that door for you. We've had people from Sam Ocho of ESPN to, we've had Tim Tebow, Mac Powell, Miss Colorado, Miss Nebraska, lots of people in the arts. So with Disney, since I think you guys kind of like Disney in this room, yeah? The former vice president of Magic Kingdom of 30 years, he's been on the radio show. Him and his wife Valerie, Dan and Valerie Cockrell, they met at Disneyland Paris. Okay, and I have to we're going on this whole spiel, and then we're gonna give away this kit. So he talked about this, and I think this is what we're meant to do as Christians and as just to love one another really well. So one day in the park, there was this family that went in, and there was this restaurant, and they were all eating, and the waitress ended up overhearing that the grandpa had Alzheimer's, and he wasn't doing very well, and dementia, I believe. And the grandma was there and the whole family, but it was kind of sad, but they were celebrating their anniversary. And so the waitress overheard this message, and then she told her manager, and then they told another manager, and it ended up, Dan heard about it. And what they ended up doing is that the park closed, and they told the family just to stay there for a little bit longer. You guys, they turned on all the lights on the castle, and they put up all the volume, and they asked the couple to stand right underneath the castle, and they put on ballroom dance music, and they danced underneath the castle as a lifetime memory as their family watched them. And it's one of the most magical, loving things I think someone has done for someone. But for us to continually think of ways of how we can love people well, and if we overhear something, or if someone needs help getting to the restroom or to another class or help with homework, how can we go out of our way to love people well? So yeah, cheers to being Jesus' hands and feet in a really creative way. So this dream kit, you guys, I want to be able to give it away to someone who's going to be brave enough to come up here and share what they feel like God is calling them to. And I'm not going to look, right, I'm going to have you pick someone, or Sarah.
Willow, do you want to do it? Okay, you want to do it? Yeah. Okay, come on.
Let's give her a round of applause. Woohoo! All right. Okay. That's it. Okay, you're gonna tell us. So give us your former introduction, your name, your year, and what you feel like God is calling you to in this season, and how we can all champion you and cheer you on to fulfill it.
My name is Ellie. I am 11, and I'm turning 12 in August, but I feel like God is calling me to be a missionary. I don't know, but I just feel like that inside me. Yeah.
That's amazing. Let's give her a round of applause. And Ellie, do you know where you want to be a missionary at? Is there a certain country that stands out?
Well, there was this teacher in my class, Miss Sharp, and she was a worldwide missionary, and she'd go teach like a year in each country at a Christian school. She ended up teaching our class, and that just really inspired me. Like, do I want to be a missionary?
That is amazing. The power of teachers, the power of example. Well, we're so honored you get this, Ellie. Yay! Congratulations. Congratulations. You can go this way. Perfect. Well, you guys, it's such a powerful example of just saying, like, this story, this life really affected me. Like, this teacher was a missionary in nations around the world and changed every year. And I think I would want to do something. That's exactly how you get started. And you guys, you're the perfect age to get started right now. Raya, thank you so much for having me in this time. And want to welcome everyone. If you guys want a t-shirt, they're $5. If you guys want a book or dream kit, would love to. But ultimately, would love just to stay in touch with you. So if you guys don't have Instagram, totally okay. You can write down your email or your phone number, whatever is easiest. We just want to be there for you and know that Jesus has the most amazing dreams. Do we have any last minute things?
Last minute things. So lunch is at 12:30, so you have about 10 minutes. So just hang out in the lobby for lunch, grab lunch, and then you're headed out of here by 1 o'clock, and you will be back at 6:45 for tonight's session.
Awesome. Bye, you guys. Thank you. Thank you.